Hey, welcome back to Tim's IT Straight Talk. This session is about Mensa, which is a worldwide organization that you can apply to join by passing their entrance exam, that according to their literature qualifies you as being in the top 2% of your demographics intelligence, general intelligence, IQ. And I don't know, I want to talk about it. Simple as that. I've been a member since 2000 or so. It was in late 2000, Nashville, Tennessee. I was working at Transcender making IT certification exams. And one of my colleagues, really brilliant guy named John Potter, he and I were just shooting the bull one day. And, you know, the one thing about Mensans that's true that kind of fits a stereotype is that generally speaking, Mensans, members of the organization, tend to be pretty colorful and interesting personalities, really, no doubt. And John definitely was. So he piqued my interest when he mentioned Mensa, and he said that he's met some cool people being a member, but other than that, it really hasn't been anything more than a conversation token. And I don't know, at that time, I'm still this way, but at that time, I was really into challenging myself. That's definitely still the case at age 53, I'm grateful to say. But even as a younger buck back then, heck, I think I was in my 20s, I thought, what the heck? I'm going to take the entrance exam and see what happens. So I did. I just did some research. Where are they holding these exams in Nashville? And there's one right down the road from our apartment at the time. So I went over on a Saturday and I took the exam. There was probably about 20 other people in the room. Some things to note. Now, I understand this is over 20 years ago. I'm not sure if they do online testing now. This was pencil and paper back in the day. And it was a 3-hour or so process at least. Their entrance exam was really rigorous, and there's no guarantee that you were going to pass. There is a fee, because of course Mensa pays their proctors and then the test materials and the scoring. That's money. So, there I was. I must have had enough willingness or confidence to invest that time. The exam contents are proprietary, but I would say as a general rule, the online Mensa qualification practice tests that are all over the place, I went in totally blind. I had no idea what to expect, but I would say that the logic puzzles and stuff that you see on an online exams at least gives a simulacrum of what the real exam experience was. Of course, it's proprietary. One thing Mensa does not do is IQ testing. They'll not tell you your score. They'll just give you pass or fail. And they don't give any IQ numerics. So if you think that one way to figure out your IQ in a semi-dependable way would be to take the Mensa exam, that's not going to get you there. Again, at least it didn't in 2020. I imagine that's not changed because they're not looking to give IQ tests. They're looking to qualify membership in their organization. Now, the exam was a good flex of left brain, right brain stuff. There was a whole bunch of quantitative reasoning. I would say the math went beyond went beyond arithmetic into algebra. I don't remember if there was trigonometry. I think there was some geometry, definitely a lot of spatial reasoning. If you've seen those types of questions where you see a sequence of patterns and then you need to figure out what the next step is in that sequence, also numeric sequences where you have to figure out what the relation is between the numbers and then fill in the blanks. I love those kind of puzzles. I always have. But I understand they're going to immediately weed out people with heavy math anxiety. On the other hand, the exam had a lot of qualitative reasoning on it, in which you'd be tasked with reading a passage and answering analysis questions about the text, multiple choice. I think there was quite a bit of vocabulary, a lot of synonyms and antonyms kind of stuff, not just multiple choice, what does this word mean, but X is to Y as A is to analogies, a lot of that. What I thought was the most interesting exercise actually was a period of several minutes where the proctor read a passage. And after she finished, we had no idea what was coming next. She asked us to listen to her. She read the passage. And then there was a little pause. Maybe we even did another activity. And then she said, all right, in this part of your answer booklet, I want you to summarize the story that I told you a while ago. That was an interesting test, and one that I relished because I've always had a sharp memory. So I was able to come back with microscopic details of that text. Now, how confident was I at the end that I would pass? Not so much at that time. I mean, it's a blank box kind of deal. You don't know. And in those days, it wasn't electronically scored. It was pencil and paper. So I had to wait upwards to 8 weeks. And I was really on pins and needles. I was invested. I wanted to, it was a self-challenge. Had nothing to do with my career. It had no effect on my personal life. Sue and I were at least engaged. We weren't married yet, but we were engaged. So everything was solid and stable. You want to know what my biggest takeaway was from that process? The testing process, that is? The proctor and I were chatting afterwards for a little while, and I asked her, I'm on pins and needles, wondering if I passed. And she said, Tim, let me tell you, in my experience being a proctor, and she had been a proctor for quite a while, she said, in my experience, generally speaking, if you're confident enough to come in here and take the test, you've probably passed it. And that, looking back on it, those were pretty wise words, because I wouldn't say cockiness, but you'd have to have a certain degree of confidence to pay the money and to schedule the time and to sit for 3 hours taking this pretty rigorous exam. I mean, my brain was pretty well worked out by the time I left that room, And not only the confidence, but the willingness to invest the time, effort, and money. Even though there was no prep to speak of, I wouldn't recommend anybody prep. Go in cold. It's a test of your native reasoning abilities more than anything else. So that was the big lesson. And 8 weeks later, I got my letter in the mail, snail mail, of course, even though email was a thing. It was still relatively early days. Got my snail mail, and I became a member, and I've been a member ever since. I like how nowadays Mensa uses the Credly digital badges. You can actually check out my badge by pointing your browser to timw.info/Mensa, so I don't have to carry my wallet card. Now, has anybody ever carded me for my Mensa membership? I think the only times that have happened is when I want to qualify for a discount. Just like a AAA discount here in the US, the Auto Club, you can get a discount on your hotel, but you have to verify that you're a member by supplying your ID. Same thing with Mensa. I will say to Mensa's great credit that they do a good job with community. Over the last 20-something years, I've regularly been invited for local, national, and international meetups. Mensa is geographical. I belong to Mensa America. I don't know if that means North America, Central, and South, probably, but I'm not positive. And as far as Europe and Asia Pacific, I believe that it's divided along those lines. But it's been on me. I mean, I'm the weak link in terms of not really exerting much effort to reach out. I probably I was going to say should, but I don't like to use the word should. It's too laden with shame. But the truth of the matter is Mensans are a really interesting bunch. The word Mensa comes from Latin. It means table. And that's why the Mensa logo is an M that looks a bit like a three-dimensional table. And I like that idea because it's humans talking across a table. And that's what I look forward to the most if and when I do attend some Mensa meetups, is that I know guaranteed I'm going to meet some very interesting, dynamic people. I know that this is my tribe, as it were. Has it helped me progress my career? I would say no. I have my badge on my personal website, timw.info, but I've never put it on a resume that I remember, never used it for a bragging right or ego thing. It's not what it's about. Some people in my life are really impressed with my Mensa membership, and I guess it is impressive, but I have to say, I say thank you, don't get me wrong. I believe in graciously receiving a compliment, big time. Say thank you, but internally I think, well, what did I really do? I didn't choose my genetic lineage. I didn't choose where I was born. I didn't choose where I grew up, my most formative years. If I had anything to do with the process, it was going along with it. So I guess clap on the back that I went with it. I realized that I have an intellectual gift, and I decided to go all in and just stretch it and challenge myself. I don't like to compete with others. In fact, I don't compete with others unless I absolutely have to. Instead, I compete with myself. It's kind of like those driving video games when there's a ghost car of your best run and you're trying to beat that ghost car and that ghost car represents you. That's how I look at competition. I'm looking for a new personal record, personal best. All right, I think that's about all I wanted to say. Let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns about Mensa. I think I've done a pretty thorough job of giving you the overview. I'm glad to be a member. It's worth the money. I still renew my membership. There you have it. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.